Reptilian and crypto crackhead nation. This will be a quick market update, hopefully under 10 minutes. And it's a follow-up from yesterday's video. Nothing large scale has changed, but I wanted to let you know. So if you haven't seen yesterday's video, you might want to watch that, because I'm going to refer to what I thought was the most probable out of 5 top things that could happen on a midterm scale from now till New Year so December 31st, or Christmas of 2021. So I'm going to go off the most probable from yesterday, and at the end of this video, I will let you know how I'm playing it. So to start off, though, since it is the first of the month, if you were to go check out the Patreon community, it's not good to sign up at the end of the month, because you get charged at the end of the month and then also at the first of the next month. So sitting on the first of the month is a good time to go check it out. Right now, I'm doing a lot of more active day trading. So if you can see, I just have a small account. I'm not showing you any of my trades, so I'm not breaking any like financial YouTube rules or anything. But, you know, playing with the account, you can just see what I did from yesterday with only a 3% range from yesterday. And then with today, what I've done so far with just a couple positions, and I just got flat before making this video because I'm doing crackhead time frames, and I give, particularly to my VIPs, I give a lot of maybe like 5 different alerts a day what I'm doing, and I show my trades. And then for the crackhead tier, the crypto crackhead tier, I do about half that much, so a lot of the they get a little bit fewer videos on the trading journals, but they still get some. And the lower tier, you get my daily updates. So every day I post something else, what my daily thoughts are. That's for the whole community. I post my YouTube videos, so you don't have to, like, you know, just refer to this. So it's kind of like an archive. I have some dictionary videos where it goes over the basics, and so library videos are more towards, they're similar to my library videos on YouTube, but they're very condensed, and I don't tell jokes. I keep it straight at it type of deal. And so a lot of my VIP content is only accessible to VIPs. Crackhead content is only accessible to crackheads. So the Cryptillion tier could not access any of these at all, but they could access library, dictionary, YouTube videos, daily updates, and announcements. Announcements is where I post just general ideas, not necessarily on price, but like my schedule, the live call schedule. So, and then we have a bunch of different chat rooms where we all, you know, congregate, and VIPs get video chat with me 5 days a week, up to 5 days a week, usually 4, but I try to do it 5 days a week. So it's, you know, group, we all have our cameras on, we all talk. You don't have to type. It's on a live stream, even though I am starting to record those. So it's a pretty good thing going on over here. So if you allow me to advertise myself for the first 4 days of the month without giving me a hard time, you can still give me a hard time. I get it. I totally get it. I've been in your boat before, and I know what it looks like. But I know a lot of people have been waiting for the end of the month. And now is a great time to join such a community. Maybe not mine, but join a community, because this is the time where your wealth is made. Even if you're seeing your account shrink because you didn't know how to sell, you didn't take profits, join a community. You'll share ideas, and people can give you the gumption to take profits, right, for the next time, right? But if it's a little too late for that, because this could be close to a bottom here. And so if you have something like a coin like a Silo, which I already gave an alert last night to all of my community, but Silo had its own little relief rally, and I sold right into that. So I was not able to get rid of my Silo, you know, at the very top, and it just tanked. So on this relief rally, I dumped all of my Silo, and MTV actually had a relief rally, and I almost sold the top on that one. And I alert my community of this as well, and I try not to market sell my whole bag. If it's a big bag, I try not to dump price, but there I didn't even actually make it tick very much because there were so many buyers. I don't know who was buying this stuff, but I wouldn't be buying altcoins right now, folks. So you get those types of alerts, and that's for Cryptillions as well. If you just want to join a community for a very low cost, I think it's like $5.67, something like that. But the reason I'm pushing this, not only is it the first of the month, but this, even though your account is shrinking and it makes, you know, a little anger and all that kind of stuff, I swear, if you stay in it and you're dollar cost averaging, or perhaps, you know, picking up a little bit more about trading, you're doing a little bit of active trade, just like, you know, on average 1.5 to 2% increase in your account. So some days it'll be 5, some days it'll be -4, some days it'll be 3, some days it'll be -2. But on average, you want to, you know, just chip away in a community, you know, with a few trades a day. If you can just on average 2% a day, you're going to be so well off once Bitcoin is breaking all-time highs, perhaps around the new year or a little later, maybe in May next year. I don't know, but this is the time. this is the time to be in crypto. I swear to goodness. I swear to goodness, this is the time. And I'm going to do a follow-up video on that idea. But anyway, so this will be a video on my thoughts on what's happening per the plan of the most probable scenario within the context. So this is a microcosm context of what I thought was most probable. So check out my video from yesterday, and at the end again, I'm going to let you know how I'm playing this. So I think I'm going to go to the 1 hour chart. And what I think is happening right now is I think Bitcoin is going to come down to this trend line. So you have two important lines here, got a lot of support. I think this is also a 4 hour line, this on the hourly. You can see how much action it's gotten. And Bitcoin just bounced off this. I don't think this is going to hold up. I think this is going to try to it's going to hit this box or a little lower and then bounce back down. And I'll show you on a different time frame why it'll make a lot more sense here in a second. But just to get a visual, I think we're going to come down here, maybe give a good bounce up, back up to this box again, maybe, or slightly lower, and then potentially crash through or potentially break out from there. And I'm kind of thinking, per the most probable, I think it'll bounce here, maybe wick a little lower to scare people out, and I think it's going to potentially go up to 38K. That's going to be my ultimate target zone. And I think then it's going to come back down, but to what point it'll come down, whether it's going to make a new low at 26K, or if it's just going to keep chopping around per the Wyckoff accumulation patterns, because it is following exactly the number 1 and 2 accumulation patterns. So that's number 1 and that's number 2, but both of them say you're going to make a series of 3 higher lows. So 2 higher lows after this low, and then you're going to create a higher high of these 3, but it's still lower than this high, right? Which follows both patterns exactly. So if it can't go over 40K per those patterns, I'm guessing 37, 38. And it's working. So it's going to work until it doesn't work. So that's what I'm doing right now. So that's why I think it's the most probable. Obviously, other things can happen within this context. Per my video yesterday, I was saying, but as of now, this is my main idea. And if the charts tell me to change my idea, I will change my idea like within seconds, right? Whenever the charts tell me to. But as of now, this is my main idea. What I think is going to happen, between now and July 4th. Fireworks could potentially go off here. It could be a really aggressive drop after it hits this level. And let's see here. So right now, what I think could be happening is why I think it could hit this box is this. Bitcoin during falls, before it fully recovers, I'm going to the 4 hour chart, it almost always checks and fails the 4 hour 10 EMA. Almost 100% of always. So what was happening yesterday during the monthly and quarterly and biannual close, it was literally doing just that. It only chopped around in a 3% range, essentially failing the 4 hour 10. So it's done it once. I have a feeling it's going to try it a second time. And then the next candle or the next 4 candle after that, maybe later tonight, it'll hit that. And my plan is, it'll potentially bounce from there. Test this, maybe have a red candle and break out, and then start its ascent up to 37K over the next 4 days. So each candle's is 4 hours, so it doesn't take many. It doesn't take a whole lot to get to a day. You do the math. But anyway, so that's why I think it's going to test this box up here. So if you give some examples of this. On this very last drop, just the next one back, as it was dropping, what did it do? It came up and it failed that red line. Do you see that wick here? It failed it perfectly. Let me zoom in so you can really see that. Okay, see that? And typically, if you're using a 1 hour chart, that means it wicks significantly past the 1 hour 21 EMA. And sometimes it gets just past the 1 hour 21 EMA and only comes up to here. But this was this might have been close to the 1 hour 55 EMA. So let's mark this right here and go to the 1 hour so we can see exactly where we marked. And put on the other EMAs here. And yep, so it went between both. So the blue line's 55. This is, so I said significantly past and almost here. So usually those two things align, and you have different groups of traders. So the 4 hour and the 1 hour are very common time frames, and people sell into these, you know, rallies the first several times until it does it like 3 and 4 times, and then or maybe not 4 times, but usually gives it like 3 different tries before it attempts to potentially successfully start on an uptrend, right? So that's just the pattern of Bitcoin. That's just how it moves. And these Wyckoff people can't control that. That's how it moves. Like the inner time frames are almost always going to work pretty much the same. The chaos, the quantum mechanics behind what makes a daily candle, right? I don't think necessarily that's being controlled to that level. Yeah, it's not, because it's doing stuff it always does. So it tested it once here, failed. It tested it again, actually on the way up. So that was after it hit its bottom. So it, how many times did it fail that? It only failed it. Oh no, this was the 10. So it tested it once. Oh, this is the 1 hour. That's why I'm getting confused. I'm like, what the hell? All right. Where did I mark this? Here. So my plan is, you know, kind of playing the 4 hour 10 here. Let me get rid of some of these EMA so we can just focus on the red line. And during this drop, it actually only tested it once, and then it hit bottom, and then it recovered. So it actually only took 1 test. And what Bitcoin has done, it essentially tested it way up here. So it typically tests it once before it bottoms, closer to the bottom. And since this was clearly not close to the bottom, I have a strong confidence that it's going to test it 1 more time and then hit a bottom. That's usually how it goes. It has a statistical pretty good likelihood. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm not saying it's 90%, but it's a pretty good chance. You have an edge for sure. So let's, you know, keep back testing this. So this was a pretty big drop from when Bitcoin got rejected exactly from the daily 200. And so you can see on this long descent down, see 4 hour 10, the red line, failed it. 4 hour 10, red line, failed it. 4 hour 10, red line, failed it. 4 hour 10, failed it. So that's 4 fails before it's finally hit the bottom way down here. It actually tried it again here. So 5. And then hit the bottom and then recovered. So that took 5 tries. So I usually like kind of guess 3, and then I'll start letting go of my shorts if I'm shorting, if I'm catching a big move down like that. Because you don't see 5 times very often. You'll usually get some type of relief rally, like a lower high, and then it'll go down. So even here, like on this little mini dip, it tested it once, twice, then hit the bottom, and then went up. See that? So it's twice. So twice is what I'm expecting for this time, because the dip we're having now is much bigger than this on a percentage basis. So on this dip here, you can also see it failed it once. Crap, that actually looked like I wanted to break through. That might have fooled me, though. That usually means it wants to break, but that could have been a trap, honestly. Yeah, that's not really a failure. That's an accumulation, but the accumulation failed. That's not as common. Usually when it starts making that shape, I would have guessed it was going to recover just like it did here. Once it starts like accumulating here, that's when it usually goes off. So this was a tricky play. I would have played this wrong and I would have been stopped out. Yeah, I would not have played. That's not very common to see. And so more dips on the 4 hour 10. So we're focusing on the red line and the wicks that go. So wick here, 2 wicks, hit the bottom, then recovers, right? So it had 2 on this little drop, and that's kind of what I'm expecting this time. I'm expecting a second wick up at some point. And honestly, if it hits this bottom, I'm going to guess that that's not the bottom, and this trend line's not going to stop it. Unless it starts congregating, like I said earlier, where I got tricked, but usually when it congregates around, if it starts doing that, okay, then yeah, that's fine. That counts as the second time, but it's less common to congregate on the second attempt. Like your second attempt is congregation that breaks through. That's not quite as common. So if it hits this, I will assume most likely that's not the bottom, unless one condition is met. The 4 hours start congregating, making nice small candles as this catches up, and it kind of like, you know, prepares itself to, okay, I'm building at pressure, and then I would assume it's going to break through in that event. So, you know, but I have to play on my toes there. But I would also assume that there's more than a 50% likelihood that if this is not tested again and this is hit, that it's actually going to wick a little lower. Like it, you know, it might be some type of fake out that people are looking to short if this line's broken, and it's going to be a bear trap maybe even down to here, like 30K, honestly. It might actually even exactly right here. I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 30,200 if this line isn't hit. So if this line is not retested, I would assume it'll come. I would actually be targeting 30,200 for a bear trap. And then I would probably try to long that, or if that didn't happen and this is still not hit, I would look for a congregation, and then I would take profits on my shorts. So I'm actually flat right now, as you can see on Shrimpy. I try to keep my Shrimpy as close to my personal account as possible. I trade both at the same time, sort of, so people can like actually see my trades, which I cannot show you on this video. And so these are the things within the next day and a half that I see. So there are two, microcosm situations within the most probable situation among 5 that I voiced yesterday on my video. Go check that out. But so these are my 2 plans. Right now, I'm totally flat. I'm waiting to potentially short this and then take profits on my shorts and immediately enter a long if it hits. If it doesn't hit, I will probably also take a short and maybe still take half profits here, because if it doesn't hit, I think it has maybe a 50% chance of doing the congregation play, right? So that's specifically my play. So regardless if it hits or doesn't hit here, I would still short, but my profit taking would only be half at this line, assuming it hits it, would only be half if under one of those conditions. So it would be a little bit different. I kind of lost my train of thought there. I'm sorry. Let me retry that one more time. So if it does not hit this line and it comes up short, I will take on shorts, and I will take half profits there, because I still think it's possible to convert. I think it's 50-50, but I wouldn't exit all of my shorts because I think it could do a bear trap, and I want to catch half of my profits down there. So that's what. So if it comes up short, that's where I take half my profits here. If it does hit this line and I short, I will take 100% profits, be totally flat, and potentially immediately take on longs. So that's specifically my game plan within the most probable scenario. This will last, a day and a half up to here, and then it might take until July 4th or July 5th if it plays this to get up to 37K, and that's what I'm seeing. So if you want to check out the community, the first few days of the month, or the first 10 days of the month, this is the best time to check it out. And if you like what you see, you can always upgrade or downgrade. If you think, oh shoot, I got in over my head, I don't understand what he's saying on the VIP stuff, you can always downgrade, get a hold of my whatchamacallit, administrator, or my community manager, essentially, and we can help you get back to a lower tier and refund you the difference, type of deal. So yeah, so that's what we got. And happy July 1st if you're in America. Be safe out there. If you don't see one of my videos and you're seeing this one, if you don't see the next one until July 5th, then I hope you come back to that video with 2 eyes and 10 fingers. Y'all just got timified.